Greetings everyone, welcome to a brand new video from Throttle Alpha. Well, it's been quite some time that I've vlogged and I thought of reviewing something unconventional today. It's not mainstream in the sense that you don't get to see this booty every now and then, and this unit or this model is a very special model because it has a lot to offer, and nonetheless this is currently my favorite scooty which is available locally. So this video today is about the pros and cons of the Suzuki Burgman 125. So initially I would like to start with the fact that what the Burgman is about. Well, a lot of people don't know this, but this is actually a derivation of a maxi scooter. And what a maxi scooter is that basically a scooter which is convenient for traveling, like a scooty that you can use for traveling, a touring scooty. Basically maxi scooties, they need to have a certain configuration to be able to have that criteria. They need to have higher displacement. Well, this is only 125cc, so you cannot categorize this completely as a touring scooty. So let's come to the Suzuki Burgman. I really launched this in India, I think in about 2017 or 2018. You have bigger Burgman variants, like there are 600, 450 or higher displacement variants for this. This 125 variant was regionally meant for us. We are making a review after so many days, a brief period of a gap. So I thought that why not start off with a scooty review, because I had a lot of board bike and car users willing to purchase a secondary vehicle, like for convenience traveling, like, you know, getting the grocery, getting fuel for your main vehicle, I don't know, for doing important stuff. So rather than getting a second bike, I think this will be helpful for people willing to get a secondary vehicle. I would like to firstly start off with what makes this engine pretty good. Now this is a 124cc engine consisting of a vertical single cylinder. It's air cooled and it has a CVT transmission. It keeps getting the gears updated automatically, like there is no clutch for this scooty. Such a smooth engine. So with this automatic gearbox, the scooty manages pretty good power output. With whatever mileage that I've acquired with this scooty, I think with the fuel that we have, and this is a carbureted bike, and taking fuel from multiple fuel stations, I obtained an average mileage of about 44 to 46 kilometers per liter in city, and I think this would reach about 58 to 56 kilometers per liter in the highway. Now they did come up with the VS6 engine this 2020, I think. Don't think it got officially launched in Bangladesh, but Raccoon Motors, I think they introduced this variant only in late 2018. And I think you can willingly obtain a top speed of about 95 to 100 kilometers per hour, which is still a pretty good top speed for such a 125 unit. I would like to kick off with a 0 to 60 speed run in the first place and see how good the engine does in a pretty short span of road. See, this is what I was talking about. With such a nimble engine, this bike has a pretty good power output. We did use a pretty short span of road, and you could see how effectively the engine pushed up to about 90 kilometers per hour. So this is what I was talking about. This is pretty much a good touring option too in that context. So hats off with the way the engine's been put up. I'm a pretty huge fan of this Burgman engine, and I must say it does feel refined too. And in the cockpit area you can see that this has a Gixxer derived speedometer. The cluster design, it's derived from the Suzuki Gixxer. It's quite similar. You have a clock, you have a fuel indicator, a trip meter, odometer, and the lighting indications. So it's a pretty packed designed for the cluster. And another thing about this vlog in particular is that I have lately seen a lot of female riders, or a lot of scooty or motorcycle riders who are female, who are more interested in riding these days. So I think this would be a pretty helpful content for those certain users willing to find more about scooties or how they feel. So as far as the design goes for this bike, even if I come from the context of riding this, the handlebar feels a lot like the Intruder. If you've seen this cruiser from Suzuki, which was lately launched, the Suzuki Intruder, I think the handle matches with the Intruder's handle, and the riding ergonomics is quite the same. Like, if we have to put it this way, this is the cruiser of scooters, and you also have that extra bit of leg space to stretch yourself out. So yes, in that context, this gets very, very comfortable. Now, for people who are a bit tall, I think they might find the handlebar to be a bit spread out to the front, but otherwise, for me at least, the riding ergonomics were absolutely brilliant. Now let's come to the visual aesthetics for this scooter. Now if you look at it from clear visual, you'd see this headlight is brilliantly done. Like, I think this is one of those scooters in this segment that looks this good. This front headlight does support a daymaker, and it has quite good visibility in terms of day-to-day riding. Like in nighttime, you wouldn't find this headlight to be any less in power. And there's a windshield in the front. I think this does not have any specific job, it's just for the visuals. And you have those integrated indicators to the sides, and the seat itself, it's very, very wide. This is a very wide seat, and the leather stitching and the foaming that has been done with the seat, they have done an absolutely brilliant job with the seat, because it's really, really comfortable for extended rides and for intercity rides too. And there's the engine, and you have the Kickstarter along with the engine. I did talk a bit about the engine and how it performs, and along this chassis design, the engine suits the chassis perfectly. You have this space here, you can carry a 1-liter bottle at it, and there's a dash panel here, and there's a USB charger to the bottom of this panel too. Inside the panel, you have an integrated USB charger. This is the choke. You can hang a bit of bag and baggages here, and there's also a baggage holder to the bottom. And to open the trunk space or boot space, what you need to do is you need to turn the key. And as you turn the key, the seat opens up, and there's a hell lot of space inside to carry all the things that you want to carry. Like, you can carry a bag in it, you can carry a helmet inside, and this supports about 21 to 22 liters capacity, so that's a lot of space. Now they put up the fuel cap here inside the boot space. Now I think this is not as practical as it looks. Like, this is not practical at all. If the fuel cap was somewhere here, I think that would have made it more of a commute bias practicality. I don't know if such a thing even exists. Commute bias practicality, but then again, yes, if they could put the cap to the side, that would have been a better job. Yes, so now I want to talk a bit about the suspension. Now this suspension does a good job when you're riding intercity or in plain roads, but in terms of riding this in a bit of off-road or a bit of bad road mainly, now the suspension isn't the best that I've encountered. Like, this could be a bit better in bad roads. And now coming to the braking, the scooty has a disc to the front and a drum to the rear. Like, in terms of putting the scooty to a stop or a halt, I think in terms of the scooty being a bit low in weight, and the weight is quite distributed. So in terms of the way the weight's been distributed, I think the braking also would effectively channel with the way the scooty's been designed. And to the front lever, we have the front and the rear brakes both. Like, this scooter has CBS. Now the combi braking, what it does is that while you apply the rear brakes, it also puts the front brakes in use too. They're put in use combinedly, and the lever to the right that I have, it basically is for the front brakes. So the left is the rear plus this CBS mainly, and to the right is the front brake. And if we have to talk about the stopping power for this scooter, I think for day-to-day city riding, the stopping power is quite adequate. Like, you don't need anything more than this. Let's give a demo for the brakes. I would put it up to 60 and hit the brakes. And voila. That's pretty impressive braking. So that's pretty effective braking if we have to consider the general standards. Like, yes, that is quite effective braking. And let's get to the tires for this scooty. I think the tires do a pretty good job. For the size, they're 12-inch tires and they're not bad for what they are. They're pretty good with the grip, and yes, as for effective braking too, the tires are pretty grippy. In wet or muddy conditions, they might lose a bit of traction, a lot of it mainly because you have a very small rim size, but otherwise the tires are pretty much effective enough to handle the scooty. Now, if we are to talk about the marketing for this scooty, this is officially being imported by Rancune Limited. The biggest problem for buying this scooty would be, you have a company that's not bringing in the parts adequately. Like, this is one problem that I faced with this scooty. What happened was that the scooty crashed and it fell to the right, broke a few parts, and when I called Rancune for the parts, what they had to say was that they don't have the parts in stock and it would require some time to get the parts imported. So I had to make up a lot of the parts from the dead mechanics who basically works for cars. It's better that you get the parts, at least the important parts, imported, or a few spares brought in, like the cables basically. You need clutch cables, you need brake throttle cables, you need brake pads, etc. They have a lot of parts available for this motorcycle in India. So if you ever manage to go to India, if it happens to be that you own a Burgman, it's better you get a lot of spares bought in with you as you go to travel. And as for Throttle Alpha, we'll be coming up with more contents very soon. Do follow us on Instagram, we have a lot of cool pictures there, and do follow us on Facebook too. I'll mention everything in the description box below. So this is everything I could cover about the Suzuki Burgman 125. I hope this video helped you understand the Suzuki Burgman a bit better. Do hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet, and do hit like if you found this video to be helpful. We'll come up with more contents very soon. Till then, take care, stay safe and stay subscribed. Thank you.